Hello and welcome back to the Conquering History channel. Today I will be analyzing Legend of the Galactic Heroes Episode 3, and just a reminder that you should have come here from the Overture to a New War movie review and analysis. We open on Hyzenopolis, the capital of the Free Planets Alliance, where the memorial service for the dead from the Battle of Astarte is going to happen. Julian and Yang are... Oh my god, the fluffy cat! It's so... I'm sorry. Yang is being honored for distinguished service. This is a political show for Job Trunhit, the Secretary of Defense, so Yang decides that he's going to ditch the service. Rear Admiral Kazelnu is instructed to call him by the headquarters Chief of Staff, Sitolet. This is the same Kazelnu who informed Yang of his deployment to the Battle of Astarte. Yang is referred to as a hero in their video conversation, but he says that he is merely the commander of the defeated army. However, it is implied that the narrative of Yang as a hero is being constructed for the sake of the general population by the media. After this phone call, Julian brings up becoming a soldier again because the military has paid for his schooling, and if he doesn't join the military, then he'll have to pay back the money that he owes them. Yang is very insistent that he will pay off Julian's debts to prevent this from happening. After this, the live television broadcast of the memorial service begins with Job Trunhit delivering a speech in honor of the 1.5 million who died at the Battle of Astarte. He makes a strong appeal to the patriotic duty of all citizens, saying that they all must be willing to sacrifice for the motherland. It's at this moment that Jessica Edwards approaches the podium and confronts him, accusing his patriotism of being that of a fraud, but then she is quickly escorted away. Dusty and Yang saw this happen on the live broadcast, and he immediately leaps up to go save her. They fear that Jessica will face reprisals by the Patriotic Knights Corps, an ultra-violent nationalistic group that is famous for its intimidation. They are said to be secretly working for Job Trunhit himself in order to stifle dissent against the government. The Free Planets Alliance anthem is then played as a backdrop for Jessica's physical escort out of the building. As Jessica is walking back to her car, the aforementioned Patriotic Knights Corps, or PKC, approaches her with clearly violent intentions, preparing to purge the traitorous Jessica on behalf of the Free Planets Alliance, and of course they hum the anthem as they do this. However, Yang and Dusty arrive just in time to save her and whisk her away in their car, but they are identified by the PKC. Because their car was traced, the group returns instead of to Dusty's hotel to Yang's home, which has become surrounded by the PKC, who are starting to attack the house. Yang holds them off with a fire hydrant until firefighters show up and the PKC flee the scene. After this, Yang drives to the house of Trunhit himself, and he asks him for protection for Jessica. Trunhit initially claims that he has no control over the PKC, but they clearly do understand one another, so Job agrees to do it as a favor for a national hero. No sooner does Yang leave than we see a PKC member enter the room with Job and speak with him. The next day, we see the scene that we've seen before. It's the one that closed out Overture to a New War. Yang is promoted to Rear Admiral and made commander of the 13th Fleet with the assignment to take the Isirlon Forest. This is an assignment that baffles Yang because the 13th Fleet is just half the size of a normal one. The episode ends at an airport with Jessica flying off to safety as Yang is approached by a woman whose grandson wants to be a soldier. Yang expresses his belief that peace will have come by the time the child is old enough to fight, and there will be no need for brave soldiers. So what did we see here today in this episode? Well, probably the most important element was the introduction of the Patriotic Knights Corps, essentially Trunhit's personal gang of thugs. So we're very much aware now that Trunhit is not just a bad politician, but a bad guy in general. There are, of course, parallels to this sort of organization in our own real history. For example, the most obvious one would be the brown shirts of the National Socialist Party, who, even before the Nazis were in power, would be out on the streets, beating people up, killing their enemies such as the communists. However, I think that a more accurate comparison would be the Grupo Colina. It was a paramilitary death squad that was organized and led by the president of Peru, Alberto Fujimori. Now, here is a man who was democratically elected at least 2 times. The third one's a little bit up for debate, but he was democratically elected by the people, and here he was using very undemocratic means to hold on to power. The Grupo Colina was mandated by Fujimori, and they used intimidation. They often used murder. They went after anybody who was active against the Peruvian government. And for that, he's now in jail. Alberto Fujimori, that is. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you for episode 4, where we will flip back over to the Empire side and see what Reinhardt is doing. Now, just one more friendly reminder. This will be the last time I say it, that you should never, ever, ever watch the after credits episode previews. These were made with the intention of appealing to people who had already read the manga, so they will be filled with spoilers. So unless you want to find out who's going to die or what's going to happen before you even watch the episode, I would not do it. Have a great day and subscribe to get notifications of when that episode comes up.